and welcome to the most important meal of the day. That is the Breakfast Cafe. I am Olumide Shokoya. Welcome to the Breakfast Cafe, your daily dose of morning inspiration and motivation. I am Olumide Shokoya. Of course, I am not fine solo. I have the ever beautiful, melanin popping Sarah Owusu answer. Morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Olumide. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You seem to be looking at the feathers on my dress, on my top. What is it? Say what you want to say. Just say. Say it to
It's giving something, but I've not.
It's giving what? Peacock.
Well, now that you mentioned it, it's giving. I don't know.
Anyways, you don't know fashion. But thank you for joining us on the show this morning. I am Sarah Owusu-Ansah. As you know, on the Breakfast Cafe, we give you everything juicy from, banters, rather from our trending stories to views from the net to banters and etiquette, newspaper reviews. So much, package we have in store for you this morning. But let's kick up very quickly with our banters and etiquettes. Now this morning we're talking about something very interesting, building a positive habit. And you ask yourself, what exactly is a habit? Now a habit is a repeated behavior or action that is learned and becomes automatic over time. Positive habits are behaviors that have a beneficial impact on our physical, emotional, or mental well-being. Everybody has an habit.
Yeah.
Whether good or bad. Some people have very funny habits that are not encouraging, while some have habits that, have helped them over the years. I know people that one of their strong habits is whenever they wake up in the morning, they do this 20-minute yoga meditation thing, and it works for them. That's an habit for them. So by the time we start to discover ourselves individually, we would start to understand our key strengths and what our habits are, both positively and otherwise. Right. But let's quickly look at some key components of building positive habits, because positive habits is what we're focusing on this morning. The first one is goal setting. Now identify the habit you want to build and set a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goal. That's a SMART goal in summary. The second thing you want to look out for is motivation. Understand why you want to build a habit and what benefits it would bring to your life. One of the things I want to do this year, one of the habits, if I'll put it that way, I want to imbibe or cultivate this year is reading a book every month. It might sound, I used to like reading books, but not anymore. So one of the things I got a book for this month, and I'm like, Sarah, you have to finish reading. At least at the end of the year, she said I've read 12 books. And I told myself, okay, don't beat yourself up. Maybe we can say 10 at the end of the year. Yeah. But I want to read a book every year. It's one of the things, habits I want to, when I wake up every day, I want to say, okay, I'm on chapter, this, and read it.
It's a good one.
Right. Another is trigger. Identify the trigger or cue that will remind you to perform the habits. Very, very important. Also routine. Create a routine or schedule for performing the habits. This is very, very true. Now, one of the things I started last year was taking walks every evening. I decided that, okay, after work, after relaxing, 6 p.m.-ish, I would always take a walk. And it got to a point where it wasn't convenient anymore because my schedule was come back from work. I had a couple of things I needed to do and all of that. But I had to intentionally map out my schedule to accommodate that, even though it's still challenging. But we'll find a way around it eventually. I talked about routine. Also, look out for reward. Celebrate small wins and reward yourself for consistent behavior. Don't always beat yourself up. When you see that you've done something, no matter how little it is, celebrate your feat. It's not. Don't wait till you have achieved everything. The little things matter as well. Tracking, monitor your progress and track your behavior. Know how well you're doing. Consistency is next. Perform the habit consistently, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. You want to take us on some types of positive habits?
Yes, we have different types of positive habits. The first one is physical habits: exercise, healthy eating, sleep, and the rest. Second one is emotional habits. This one is very important: mindfulness, meditation, gratitude.
Let me pause you on gratitude for one minute. This thing about gratitude, a lot of us take it for granted. Now, if we're not careful, if we don't make it an habit, we would constantly find ourselves every day complaining. Oh, I couldn't achieve this. Oh, I couldn't do this. Oh, I was unable to do this. Meanwhile, we would not pay attention to the ones that we have been able to achieve. We will not be grateful for what we have. And someone says, what you are living in now is a prayer answered from you're living in some of your answered prayers. So it's important that when we wake up every day, we make it an intentional habit to be grateful for friends, family, where we are at, even though we want to do more.
Yes. The next one is mental habits: learning, reading, problem solving. We also have social habits: socializing, communication, relationships. That's also important. Now, we have benefits of building positive habits: improved physical health. Now, with regular exercise, healthy eating, and sleep, it improves your overall physical health. Increased productivity, building habits like time management, goal setting, prioritization can boost productivity, enhance mental well-being. Mindfulness, meditation, gratitude practice can also reduce stress and improve your mental health. Now, better relationships, building social habits like active listening, empathy, and communication can actually strengthen relationships. Listen, and all that. I think
it's very true. Very quickly, just on better relationship, it's one of the things that we need to take seriously. The people that we have around us can have a very great impact on us, and it's important we are intentional about the kind of people we surround ourselves with.
Yes. Can we still take more? I think
that's all we have.
We have for now. Yes. So I'm sure you must have learned one or two things from habits, having a positive habit and learning how to guard that habit. But we'll go on a short break now, and when we come back, we'll kick off with the newspaper review. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the newspaper review. We get to review the newspaper. Of course, you can also call in. The number will be displayed on your screen wherever you are around the country. Please call us. Give us updates, what's happening in your area, or you can also take part in some of the headlines that we'll read out this morning. We also have a guest who will come in later on. So we'll start off with the Punch newspaper this morning. What do we have on the Punch newspaper? It says, New Year message. APC tackles obedience as Obi alleges threat to life. We have just one rider to that story. It says, Obi playing politics of bitterness, says APC. Nigeria transforming into a repressive regime, ex-governor. That's coming from Peter Obi. I think this spiraled into a whole lot when there was an interview with the PDP spokesperson. Oh, no, was it the APC?
No, there was the National Publicity Secretary of the APC, President
yes,
Felix
rather.
Moka,
Yes.
you know, was on an interview, and in that interview, he claimed that the former Anambra State Governor, in person of Peter Obi, had crossed the line in his recent criticism of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, which was said to have come in his New Year speech. And I saw that Peter Obi even put the link again, and one of the things he said in the speech was that the president should visit states to see how people are starving and quite a number of things. And the National Publicity Secretary got emotional about it and claimed that Peter Obi was desperately seeking to incite Nigerians into bringing down the current government, and he has claimed that this has brought threats to his life. That's Peter Obi, his life and his family.
Yeah, I think he made a statement that Peter Obi has come to whatever he gets. That was the
he has come
to whatever he gets.
That's
meaning whatever you see, accept it or something like that.
That's a huge one, I must say.
Yeah, exactly.
And this has followed a couple of threats, but I don't know. I just see all of this as politics eventually.
Well, maybe they are gearing up for 2027, and you know, just like you said yesterday, I mean, maybe the campaign has already started, so we'll see a lot of, you know, bantering, bickering, and all that back and forth.
You know, the former spokesman of Peter Obi's presidential campaign council,
yes,
you know, also warned the ruling party against any attempt to arrest his principal, which is Peter Obi, claiming that Nigerians will call for the head of the ruling party if that happens. Do you see this tussle going on for a pretty long time?
Yes, a pretty long time. And while this particular administration were once critics or opposition of a particular administration, they seem not to be handling criticism very well these days.
You know, that's what we were talking about during one of the protests. I think the End Bad Governance protest, where activists and you know, CSUs and all of that were saying the current president, among some other people, were part of some groups that led protests.
Occupy Nigeria.
In time past. So why are they handling protests this particular way? But I think it's just what we see. Let's move quickly.
All right, let's move on. We have Northwest bandits fleeing to Oyo. Makinde cries out. Quite a strong one there, but of course, he's a chief security officer of Oyo State. I mean, he should get more of that information. Now, just above the masthead, we have this one, retirement. I saw this one earlier this morning. Retirement, top generals get $20,000. You can do the math. Conversion, medical allowances, bulletproof SUVs and others. It's the bulletproof SUVs for me.
I have no words.
I have no
absolutely no words. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Maybe when our analysts come in, we could go more into this.
Absolutely.
Now we have this one. OAGF indicts NNPCL in 514 billion naira transaction. So much is coming out of NNPCL. And beside that, we have Trump proposes U.S.-Canada merger as Trudeau resigns.
Yeah, I saw the story yesterday where Justin Trudeau tendered his resignation and calling for a U.S.-Canada merger. I don't know. I don't see that coming to the fore.
They have very good bilateral.
Of course, they have strong diplomatic relationship, but I don't see the possibility of a merger between the U.S. and Canada. But anything can happen. But personally, plus I think that they should just maintain the bilateral relationship that they have built over the years.
Wow. Well, let's see how that pans out. Now, besides that, or below that, we have this one, cultist clash. Ayedatiwa declares curfew as mother, baby, ex-youth leaders, and others killed. Quite a sad one there. And we must applaud the governor for taking steps, you know, to ensure peace in his state. But you can get more of that story on page 5 of the Punch newspaper. Below that, 33 ex-workers sue CBN over sacking, demand 30 billion naira. We did the story last year whereby they said, I think one of them, the compensation was about, I can't remember the figure, but it was quite large. I think it was about 100 million or thereabout. as compensation for sacking or retrenching or whatever word they might want to use for that. Below that, we have 3 more stories to go. JAMB generated 22.9 billion naira, remitted 6 billion naira to federal government. That's according to the board. Quite interesting. 22 billion naira and only remitted 6 billion naira. That's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Beside that, we have woman who cursed Sheyi Tinubu and IG gets 10 million naira bail. No words for that. No words. And lastly, this one is quite interesting. EFCC sacks 27 corrupt officers, probes $400,000 fraud complaint. It's a good one if you look at it from a positive angle, that yes, they are reading out the bad eggs from within them, but it also, it's also a concern. 27 corrupt officers being sacked in the EFCC, makes you wonder what's going on. But I think that's all we have right now coming from the Punch newspaper.
We move very quickly to the Vanguard newspaper. Do not forget you can be part of the conversation. 0812-182-0154 is the number to call. And the front page of the Vanguard greets us with the major read. Thousands face life-threatening ailments from lead poisoning. Varsity dons, medical practitioners, farmers raise concern as Ebonyi government flays federal government for poor supervision of miners. Lament miners fail to implement agreement with communities to provide amenities. This is a very concerning headline, and it's a national. It's an issue of national emergency.
Yes,
and we hope that this conversation would be paid. So much attention will be given to this. Page 30 has all the details. Just above the masthead, after NERC approval, Aba Power hikes electricity tariff by 120%. Sad. In this current reality. Page 42 has all the details. Suspension of local government chairmen. Court orders Okpebolo, Edo Assembly to maintain status quo. Page 13 has all the details. On page 8, we have the story. EFCC fires 27 officers over alleged corruption. Olumide took that on the Punch as well. Now to the sad tanker explosion that happened in Delta State. Agbo tanker explosion. I saw my wife on the ground burning. That's from a distraught husband. I don't even want to imagine what he's going through right now. Seeing it is traumatizing, I must say. And once again, our heart goes out to families, loved ones, the community at large, and the people of Delta State over this unfortunate, incidents. Page 7 has all the details to that story. 2 killed and 2 others injured as explosion rocks school in Abuja. I don't, starting the new year and seeing all of this, it can be very overwhelming. But that's on page 42 of the Vanguard newspaper. Sokoto SSG loses daughter, 3 grandchildren, house help to fire. What is happening? What exactly
headlines
is
we are reading
happening?
out this morning?
From one fire to one tanker to one explosion. What exactly is going on? It's just the 7th day in the month of January, for crying out loud. Page 6 has the details. We'll go very, very quickly. I've received threat messages. That's from Peter Obi. We took that on the Punch as well. But page 5, Vanguard newspaper, you get all the details. APC chieftain, mother, child, 2 others shot dead in Ondo cult war. I don't like all the headlines. Court grants 10 million naira bail to lady detained for threatening Tinubu's son and IGP. That's on page 6. And lastly, sports, page 47. Osimhen is highest rated player in Turkish Super League. Interesting one, I must say. But that's all we have this morning on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, quickly we'll move on to the Daily Trust newspaper. On the Daily Trust newspaper, it says here, 2 killed in Abuja school bombing. Quite a sad one there. School arrest proprietor, urge vigilance. Condolences to the families affected, and you can see a picture, gory one there, viewers discretion. And quickly let's move on. Just above that we have Boko Haram attacks military base, kills soldiers, vigilantes in Borno. It's the effrontery, it's just sad. Beside that, we have cut corporate taxes to 19%, and Asina tells Tinubu. Beside that, disengaged staff sue Central Bank of Nigeria, demand compensation. We have just 4 more stories to go. Nigeria screens air travelers as HMPV spreads to more countries. We took that yesterday, the deadly virus that outbreak that broke in China. Below that, EFCC sacks 27 officers over fraud. Ibadan stampede. Culprits must face trial. This is coming from Governor Seyi Makinde. And lastly, security operatives destroyed 2 IEDs in Niger community. I think that's all we have from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
0812-182-0154 is the number to call. Let's take the Guardian newspaper very quickly this morning. And the front page reads, 3 MBPD target. That's 3 million barrels per day target. 49.7 trillion naira budgets rest on new FIDs, secure oil assets. And there's an infographics, the breakdown from January 2024 to November 2024. We have the 2025 budget key assumptions, where we have oil production at 2.06 million barrels per day, exchange rate at 1,500 naira to a dollar, and inflation at 15%. What does this mean for us? You get all the details inside page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Moving on from that story, 80 bandits killed in Katsina State as hoodlums levy Zamfara communities insecurity. Page 29 has the details. Ministries, departments and agencies defend spending as National Assembly eyes January ending for budget approval. That's on page 6. Culprits of Ibadan stampede must face trial, Governor Seyi Makinde vows. You know, I have a lot to say about this, but I would just hold my thought on it because we're going to have a conversation specifically on it later on in the course of the show. So it's a situation that requires a lot of wisdom, and we cannot just. I don't think we should take very rational decisions and make very rational statements right now, because I've seen a lot of people on social media react to this and say a lot of things, but let me just hold my thoughts on that. Still on the Guardian newspaper this morning, local government cut others Okpebolo house to maintain status quo. That's on page 28. Have I really crossed the line? You should know who this question is coming from. It's coming from former Anambra State Governor and presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, as he queries an alleged threat to life. That's on page 3. Away from the HMPV, am I correct, virus that was discovered in China, this is Lassa fever now. NCDC experts raise alarm, advocate prevention and early treatment of Lassa fever. So we need to be careful out there. Page 5 has the details. And lastly, on news analysis, page 4, medical lab scientists in limbo over AAU MLSCN quota rule. You can get that on news analysis page 4. But those are the stories we have this morning, making the rounds on the Guardian newspaper, and those are all the papers we'll be taking this morning. We'll take a break. When we are back, we'll have a guest join us to talk about some of the stories on the national dailies. To stay with us.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, But at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Arrant, arrant, arrant.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact Television. I still have Olumide here with me in the studio, and we've taken a look at stories on the front pages of the newspapers this morning. But right now we would like to delve into some of the stories. Let's even understand what they're talking about while we wait for our guest to join us. Now, you know, you took this story on the Punch as well. Tinubu approves $20,000 medical allowance, other perks for retiring military chiefs. Do you see the possibility of this sparking reaction from other groups? When I say groups, judges,
not judges. The judges right now are enjoying themselves.
Well, maybe not all of them.
Okay.
Maybe not all of them, but do you see this sparking a sort of reaction from other well, I'm looking for the
other institutions?
Yeah, if I could use that word.
You know, if you look at it in a way, I think all these perks, all these benefits should be also allocated to the Nigerian police, because they are like, I wouldn't say at the receiving end, but they are like, they are the ones who really need all these things. If you
really need.
Yes, they need allowances, they need good allowances, they need whatever will keep them from collecting 15 naira on the road.
No, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think corruption is based on, how do I put it? So it's a, I'm looking for the perfect word to explain it. So you go to a particular ministry. There was a time I had something to do at a particular ministry, and the person you want to, or you know that you sort of have an idea of the salary scale, and you know that this person is comfortable.
Yes.
This person is on maybe a level 14 or something. The person is earning very, good salary.
Yes.
The person has bonuses, the person has allowances, 13th month salary is being paid. You have this information. But then you still go and this person wants you to bribe them just because they are supposed to do what they will naturally. They're supposed to do their job.
Yes.
So they want you to bribe them to do their job. So I don't think it's a problem of they don't have money. They're not paying them well enough. Now I'm not disputing the fact that our policemen, some of our policemen, on certain levels, are not properly remunerated. Certain benefits are not accrued to them. But that's still not a justification
for corruption.
For corruption, because you see them once you are driving. Most times, this is no shade, but once you can tip them, even if you have an embargo
in your car, in your boots,
once you've tipped them, they'll let you go.
You're gone.
So I'm not saying that, okay, they don't pay them well, that's the justification. No, there's no justification for bribery and corruption. You're supposed to do your job regardless. It doesn't now mean that the federal government or those that are responsible for them will not pay adequate attention to them. I get where you're coming from, but I feel like this, now let's note that this is for retiring officers, right? But there should be some sort of extension
of it
to other institutions in your word.
Yeah. Like I said, but the one that caught my eye is the bulletproof SUVs. Why are you driving around in a bulletproof To buy an SUV is expensive. To now customize it or buy a bulletproof SUV, it's almost times 2 of that amount of buying an ordinary SUV. So the point of you buying a bulletproof SUV, now you're getting $20,000 medical treatment. That's 32 million if you're going by 1,000.
Oh, you calculated it already?
Yes, I did the calculation. That's 32 million naira. Now, the medical treatment, is it abroad or in Nigeria? I want to believe it's in Nigeria, if we're going by it, because in dollars seems as if it's abroad. We are hearing $20,000. So your mind automatically goes to, oh, it must be abroad. It must be one of those countries, Dubai and the rest of them, or just like our former president, rather, does, and all that. So, I mean, but then again, these are people who have sacrificed a whole lot for the country. So I get the fact that you want to compensate them well for all their effort, all their years of sacrifice. It's not easy to be on the war front. It's not easy defending the country. So, and just last month or last year, we saw retired soldiers crying out for this particular benefit, this retirement benefit, and to see that this is what they are getting. But my question now is, can we afford it?
Well, that's one question. My own concern now is the gatekeeping. Now, would this be easily accessible? Hope one person will not sit on it. Hope we don't get to see these people crying out years after, pay us our retirement benefits. Because it's one of the problems that we have. Yeah,
it's one of the problems.
You'll see a lot of people that are supposed to get their pension, old, elderly people, crying out that we have not been paid our pension. However, you hear that the federal government has released it, or the state government has released it. So there's somebody that gatekeeps it. So that's another thing. It's one thing to approve it. It's another thing to get to the main, the recipient of it. But this story about a bomb blast in a school in Abuja, where suspected bomb explosion kills 2 at a school in Abuja. I'll take a very brief read. Now, a suspected bomb explosion killed at least 2 people and injured 2 others at a school near Abuja. Now, this is near Abuja, the Nigerian capital, on Monday. Joseph Ade, police spokesperson for the territory of Abuja, said the incident happened at Shangagia Sani Uthman Islamia School in a village near Abuja. Now, according to investigations, 3 men from the northern state of Katsina who visited the school were suspected to have brought an improvised explosive device, or I think one of these IEDs.
Yes.
Now, tragically, IEDs rather,
Yeah.
tragically, 2 of the men died in the explosion while tampering with the improvised explosive device on the school veranda, while the 3rd man and a female trader sustained severe injuries and are currently receiving treatment under police guard. The FCT bomb squad has confirmed it was an IED explosion as remnants of the device have been recovered. I'm trying to understand the intention for this, the purpose for this. What message are they trying to pass across by going ahead to bomb a school? The police, now there are different reports. What I just read now was from Reuters.
Okay.
Daily Trust has it that the police have arrested the proprietor, and we can see pictorial representation of 2 persons, a female and a male, on the hospital bed, fatally injured from this bomb explosion that happened. You know, however, DW puts it that this also happened near Abuja, saying that the suspects were from Katsina State and they visited the school with IEDs. Olumide, what do you have to say about this?
What was the? We read one message yesterday, or one report yesterday that they have reduced insecurity.
No. So last year, during the president's independence broadcast, he said his administration had, you know.
No, the one of the CDS, the Chief Defense.
So,
yes.
Yeah. So that one, it was a connection to the CDS. The Chief of Defense Staff said, this year, 2025, they are going to ensure they
bring it down.
Insecurity and insurgency. So we linked it to the president's speech where he said his administration had, to a large extent, combated Boko Haram and what have you. So now this brings us back to that conversation, right? No, bearing in mind that I saw on one of the papers this morning as well, I'm trying to get the paper, that Boko Haram, it's still on the Daily Trust, Boko Haram attacks military base, kills soldiers, vigilantes in Borno State. So as Lakurawa or Lukarawa is carrying out their operation, Boko Haram is carrying out their operation, unknown terrorists or unknown insurgents are bombing schools, bombing communities, and it begs the question of when would we see an end to this? Would we ever see? You know, sometimes people accept some reality and you just know that it cannot change. You hear some people say in Nigeria that since this Boko Haram incident started, that it cannot stop, it cannot be changed. Do you actually buy that narrative? I
don't buy that narrative, but experts across the world have said that terrorism is something, it's one of the hardest things to rid out of a country, and it must be decisive steps must be taken. I remember 9/11 and what America did. America took some tough decisions to rid terrorists, to go after this terror. They didn't just stop it in their country. They went after those terrorists. Even though the terrorists were not in their country, they went after them and tried to neutralize them. So terrorism is not something that you just use kid gloves for. You really need to tackle it and face it. I mean, declare a state of emergency if you have to, and go after terrorists and neutralize it. That's the way we can do it. So it's a question of, is there a political will to do this? But let's take Michael from Abuja. Michael, Happy New Year. So glad to have you.
Happy New Year, Michael.
You are coming.
Can you hear us, Michael?
I'm hearing you.
Happy New Year. Thank you for calling.
I wish you the same.
Please share your thoughts.
Yes. If such Boko Haram has been arrested, let them take them to the woman abattoir and keep them physically, everybody seeing them, so that other people will be afraid of joining them. So that if such people are being caught, so that they will know the consequences of it. And so that they have been arrested, We don't know their outcome, where they take them to. So that's why give them guarantee and do more again. You know, during the military regime, if such people can be caught, they kill them and execute them. But now, nobody is seeing them, nobody is seeing their outcome. Let them be killed, so that if they kill them, another person will not imitate them again. That's my advice.
Thank you for calling, Michael. Thank you. So
Thank you.
Michael believes that once they are caught,
death penalty.
Death penalty straight, and that will serve as deterrence to others.
They say America does not negotiate with terrorists.
Well, apart from America, I've heard people, experts say you don't negotiate with terrorists. There was a time where the insecurity situation in Kaduna State was very, very intense, and the governor, Nasir El-Rufai, came out then to say that he wasn't going to negotiate with terrorists. They were kidnapping, they were killing, they were abducting, they were maiming. It was a terrible situation in Kaduna State at the time, and he kept emphasizing that he was not going to engage in any form of dialogue or negotiation with these terrorists or bandits or insurgents or whatever word they call them. One of the things Michael said is sometimes they say they've arrested them. We don't get to see what happens afterwards. And sometimes we hear that they have been reintegrated
back into the society.
They have gone through some sort of rehabilitation and they have been reintegrated. How? And there's a particular time a story was trending about how I don't know if it was one or more than one terrorist that was reintegrated that later caused another problem. So sometimes we need to be very firm in certain decisions, and honestly I don't know what else to say, because it's been going on for too long, and it feels like we don't have a headway.
What amazes me is how the report on Daily Trust newspaper this morning, Boko Haram attacks military base, kills soldiers and vigilantes. It's how they infiltrate these military base.
See, it's not the attack on our security apparatus has been coming for a long while now. We've seen a lot of military bases being attacked. We've seen their family members being abducted, being killed. So they have developed the audacity to not just go after innocent civilians, but target our security officers, people that are meant to protect us. Now they are the targets. They are bombing schools, kidnapping students, kidnapping teachers, kidnapping parents, kidnapping travelers, and you ask yourself, to what end?
Well, then again, you have to also look at, for them to go after military apparatus bases, they must have enough. Where are they getting this firepower from? Where are they getting
that's
things
That's
from?
a dicey question, because some people have thrown a lot of subtle
shades,
allegations, saying that these people know what they're doing. And okay, how do I put this? So most times I'm looking for the perfect way to explain this so it is very clear. Most times these people launch attacks, they do it and they go free. And you hear eyewitness reports tell you that they came in a korope, this small mini buses.
Mini buses.
Or some will say, some eyewitness will tell you they came on bikes.
Bikes, yes.
To abduct over 100 people. Now, are you telling me this thing has continued to baffle me for years? It goes to a particular community on bikes.
On bike.
Invade a school, abduct over 100 students, while the whole process is going on. No call for security, no security measure, nothing. They go away with the students. and start making ridiculous demands. Sometimes kill some of these abductees and all of that. Now, one would think that this will make our security operatives up their game. These regions tighten, because we cannot say we are not aware that there are certain regions that have become very prone to these things. Tighten security measures there. Give it a little while. If not that same community, not far from that community, the same thing will happen again, and they will come in Korope and carry all the students or carry people in the community. They will not meet any security on the way. They will not be apprehended. They will not. So it's like they have a kind of, sometimes feel like there's a kind of confidence that nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
And that's what they used to operate. So I can't wrap. I have so much to say, but I can't. I'll just let Dr. Adedayo Kayode. Unfortunately, I was going to let Adedayo Kayode, hop on this, but I'm not sure we can have him join us again. But I would have really loved for a guest in this field to make us understand why we're going in circles for years.
There's another report coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. Bandits kingpin imposes 100 million naira levies on 23 Zamfara communities. Now, let me quickly read that. Hundreds of residents across 23 communities in Safi local government area of Zamfara state have fled their homes for fear of being attacked by notorious bandit leader Dogo Gide if they fail to pay the levies he placed on them. Quite interesting. That's the new reality. So now you are paying bandits for protection.
Oh my days. So people are paying bandits to protect them while in bandits' custody.
Yes.
Right. It's very sad. But I think that's where we'll wrap up this segment. So sorry we're going to have our guest join us. But please stay tuned. The show continues with our views from the net right after this break.
Time of the year again. High Impact Studios presents the Super Ember Sale, bringing you up to 30% off of all advertising services, audio and video production with High Impact 102.1 FM and High Impact TV in Nicomsat 42 degrees east. Advertise your products and services at unbeatable rates. Need a modern studio for live or recorded sessions? We've got you covered. And that's not all. Get amazing discounts on photography, film production, jingle production, and more. Hurry! This offer lasts until December 2024. Don't miss out. Call us now at 0706 393 5694 or 0902 745 3931. Message us on WhatsApp at 0907 224 5018. Follow us on all social media platforms or visit our website at www.highimpactstudios.com.
Hello, High Impact.
High Impact Studios, the future.
Tease your taste buds from a world of delectable choices. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
The effect of climate change on coastal communities. In the heart of West Africa lies Nigeria, a nation blessed with rich biodiversity and vibrant coastal communities. But beneath the surface of its picturesque shores lies a growing threat, the effect of climate change. For generations, these communities have depended on the ocean for their livelihood and sustenance. But as temperature rise and sea levels swell, their way of life is being challenged like never before.
Well, I heard about the climate change, but I never paid no great thing towards it.
More than 2/3 of Ayeto has been claimed by this sea erosion.
The impact of climate change on Nigeria's coastal communities are multifaceted. Rising sea levels lead to erosion, displacing families and destroying vital infrastructure. Meanwhile, unpredictable weather patterns disrupt farming and fishing, leaving communities struggling to adapt. But amidst the challenges, there is resilience and innovation. Local leaders and grassroots organizations are working tirelessly to empower communities and build climate resilience.
It's a voice for Africa, it's a voice for Nigeria, and I can be able to tell the real story, the grassroots story from the communities on what is going on.
To get water has been so difficult. Water everywhere you want to drink, because the sea water has mixed with the river water. So our river water is now the same salinity with the sea.
Despite these efforts, the clock is ticking without urgent action to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions and support vulnerable communities. The future of Nigeria's coastal regions hang in the balance. The fate of Nigeria's coastal communities is intertwined with the health of our planet. It is time for us all to come together and confront the challenge of climate change before it is too late.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Welcome back. It's still the Breakfast Cafe. If you're just joining us, this is Views from the Net. Now, the question for today is: what's your favorite thing about starting a new year? Well, I think for me, I really don't. This New Year, New Me thing, I'm so grown.
Do people still really do that thing? New Year, New Me. Cutting off fake friends. Cutting off this. You know, thinking about it, I once did it when I first got a phone. My first phone, I think it was a BlackBerry, and we're going into a new year, and I'm like, New Year, New Me. Fake friends off. Fake this one. It didn't take me. And then I had a list of New Year resolutions. This New Year, every day I would do this. By the 3rd day of January, everything out. But you know, it's just amazing. If I think about what's my favorite thing about starting a new year, is the fact that I go into the new year with lessons learned from previous year. So it helps me avoid certain mistakes again, because the truth is, every year we face new challenges. I always like to be real with myself. I understand the positivity that comes with a new year, but we also need to understand that it will also come with its own challenges.
Yes.
Every year comes with its peculiar challenges. So the moment you set your mind to it that this year would come with its own challenges, it helps you prepare yourself for what is coming, and you know that, okay, it might be a challenge you've never experienced before. It might be the first time you are going through that challenge, but having an open mind and coming into the year with lessons learned can help guide you from making some errors.
Well said.
Well,
I think the thing about New Year for me is just looking back at the previous year and being grateful for things that I was able to achieve last year, and knowing that, okay, yes, I'm moving forward, not backward.
And one of my favorite things about entering the new year is getting the chance to show people around me love. How do I put it? So I loved you last year, but entering the new year, it means I have another opportunity to love you more. It's difficult to comprehend for other people. I don't know how to explain it. Like, entering a new year is, you're giving me a chance to show more love, be more grateful, be more appreciative. If I didn't love you well last year as my friend, entering a new year is giving me a chance to know how to love you better. And another exciting thing about the new year is the opportunities that come with it. Trust me, every new year comes with new opportunities. It could be career-wise, it could be in terms of finances, it could be in terms of personal growth and development. But every year, you might feel like, no, it's not true. Just take a moment to sit back and think over the years that, you know, okay, you're an adult, you can remember. You see that every year came with at least one amazing opportunity that you never saw coming.
And one shege too.
That's why I said prepare yourself for the challenges. But let's quickly take this comment. Quickly. This is Christopher. I love the spelling of the Christopher. It's very different from the regular. Christopher from Lagos says, my favorite thing about starting the new year is just me. Looking forward to new possibilities, new opportunities, and just being the determined person I am, because it's a new season and we have to look forward to a new beginning. Thank you so much, Christopher, for your comment.
All right, this next one says, the new year offers a natural pause to reflect on the months gone by, what we have learned, what we have accomplished, and what we have struggled. It's a moment to celebrate our resilience and make peace with the parts of ourselves that need nurturing or change. Grace from Abuli. Quite a motivating speech or words there.
Another thing about the new year is you get to see a lot of motivational speakers develop themselves, and you know, a lot of people become motivational speakers, advisors.
I saw one, I think, as I said, 2022 broke me, 2023 I learned, I'm coming back 2025.
2025 it will still break you. No, this is not to okay, no, let me put it this way. This is not to sound somehow, but you need to also prepare yourself that 2025 will still have its own challenge.
Yes, so
all this, if I never knew they had come up with a slogan for 2025.
Yes,
I just saw it yesterday that the slogan for the year is day for who, day for you. I was like, when did we agree on this? What was the slogan for 2024?
No grief for anybody.
Okay, they even did a song, no grief for anybody.
Yes, that was it last year.
Okay, so this year is day for who, day for you. So if you are not there for me, I will not be there. Like, at the end of the day, we will still be there for people. Let's be real. But 2023 broke you. 2024 did what?
I learned a lot.
Okay, why it broke you? 2023, 2024 you learned. So 2025 you now practice.
You're coming back
stronger. That's the spirit. Just brace yourself for challenges as well, so you'll be able to deal with them well. Now let's take Bolaji from Yabatek. Bolaji says, one of my favorite things about starting a new year is the sense of possibility and renewal that comes with it. It's like flipping to a blank page in a journal where you can write your own story, reflect on the lessons learned from the past, and plan for what you want to create in the future. For many, the new year represents a clean slate, a chance to reset goals, adjust perspectives, and re-energize. Very true. Like I said, one of the things about it is you are entering a new year with lessons you have learnt. But if you are not intentional, you will still make the same mistakes in the next year. So it goes beyond just learning these lessons. It now comes to applying these lessons you have learned when you face new challenges, so you'll be able to navigate with wisdom. No more than that.
This one says, one of the things I love most is the global sense of togetherness that accompanies the new year. People around the world in different cultures and time zones are sharing in the same moment of anticipation, not the same time zone, different time zones there, and of course sharing the same moment of anticipation, hope, and celebration. It's a reminder that no matter where we are all navigating this journey together. John from Aja. Quite interesting.
Yeah, while we're saying Happy New Year, some people had gone ahead of us, like Australia. They were in the New Year hours before us. While we also entered the New Year, some were behind us, but at the end of the day,
we'll all get to the same destination.
Modupe from Ilupeju says, my favorite thing about starting a new year is the sense of renewal and endless opportunities and possibilities that it brings. It's an opportunity to set fresh goals, reflect on past lessons, and embrace growth. The excitement of a clean slate makes it feel like anything is achievable. Thank you so much, Modupe, for your comment this morning.
Well, okay, I wanted to say something, but let's move.
No, talk.
The idea of a clean slate. Is there anything like a clean slate?
Well, so that's what I was trying to explain earlier. I said it yesterday and I said it today as well. I think I emphasized on it yesterday. Coming into a new year, a lot of people feel like the perspective that people have is everything I've done before
has been wiped.
Has gone. It has been erased. All my mistakes, all the bad things, everything is gone. So from January 1st, 12 a.m. January 1st, a new foolscap sheet, higher education, is presented before me. No ink is on it. So whatever I do now is the start of. That's some people's perspective, and it works for them. Some people believe that, okay, it's a new year, yes, but it's just another day. I just need to improve
better.
And do better than what I used to do. So it's different strokes for different. What works for you? If you believe it's a clean slate and you want to start on that note, fantastic. If you believe that it's a continuation of everything, you just need to do better, fantastic. In as much as it's working for you, no problem.
So it's a clean slate for Nigeria.
Olumide does not believe in clean slates for anything. Even for Olumide believes that it's just another day.
It's just another day.
So I know you to an extent.
It's just
we know ourselves to an extent.
Clean slate. I mean, okay, are you saying okay, Nigeria now has started on a clean slate?
We are optimistic for a better year. All the things that have happened before.
All the 900 naira petrol.
We would. Thank you, producer.
All things have passed away.
All things have become new. It's a new year, freshness. Can't you see? Some people go as far as buy new clothes on the first day of the year. Everything they wear is new.
Well,
I know people like that. They will not wear anything old. Some people are so anxious. They have to change their phone. And I'm like, hey, God.
Now, wow.
If you don't change your perspective, if you don't try to do better as a person, you will still end up in the same challenges or mess, if I could use the word, that you found yourself in. So it's more about yourself being intentional. It's not about changing your clothes or your phone or your whatever. Please.
So this next one says, for me, the concept of starting fresh holds immense significance. It's not just about resolutions. It's about personal growth, resilience, and the quiet hope that with each new year, we have the power to shape the direction of ourselves. It's an invitation to embrace change, learn from mistakes, and approach the future with curiosity and courage. Queen from the great Yabatek.
Thank you so much, Queen. I like what Queen said. It's about personal growth.
Growth, yes.
just about you. That's the most important thing. Mercy from Shomolu says, the start of the new year is about embracing the unknown with optimism, celebrating how far we've come, and taking bold steps towards the future we envision. It's a precious time for both personal reflection and collective renewal. Whether we make resolutions or not, the new year gives us a reason to pause, reflect, and engage in the process of becoming our best selves. Have you heard people tell you that they are not so excited about the new year because it just highlights what they could not achieve?
I didn't look at it from that direction, but looking at it now,
the new year is not, it's just another day to show them that you see all these things you said, you did not do it though. So pause and think. So they have to start reflecting on how to not find themselves in that same situation. So people, it works differently for different people.
This next one says, the new year often sparks a desire to reconnect with others, whether that's reaching out to old friends, strengthening family bonds, or setting new intentions for how we engage with our communities. It's a reminder that we are all interconnected in our journey, and the shared experience of welcoming a new year can create a deeper sense of unity. Josephine from Scotland.
Josephine, that's a fantastic one, I must say. But let's see this next comment. This is Taiwo from Unilag. Taiwo says, there's something uniquely collective about the transition from December 31st to January 1st. No matter where you are in the world, there's a shared sense of hope and optimism that comes with it, whether it's committing to a new habit, focusing on self-improvement, or setting bigger life goals. The start of the new year often feels like an opportunity to align personal values with intentions, and for many, that brings a sense of peace and excitement. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Taiwo.
I like how people are, like to, come
There's
up
no
with
comment that aligns with Olumide this morning, and it's not fair. All the people are being motivational speakers. People should align with Olumide. Tell us the truth. The new year, just continue with the shege that you see. That's Olumide's perspective for you, though.
Now, this one says, every new year brings with it the potential for stories to be written, new adventures to take, challenges to face. Now, I quite agree with this one, and memories to make. It's an opportunity to live more intentionally, seek out meaningful experiences, and embrace both triumphs and setbacks that would ultimately shape our narrative. Jane from Jos. I think I like this one. This is being more realistic.
All right. Faith from Lagos says, with each new year, we're reminded to prioritize the people and relationships that matter most. It's a time to reconnect with old friends, family, or colleagues, and perhaps even forge new connections that bring joy and family to our lives. Thank you, Faith. One of the fantastic things about the festive period is the spirit of unity, togetherness. You see people travel far and wide to be with their families, loved ones. Sometimes it's just for a period of 1 week, sometimes just for a period of 2 weeks. And by the first weekend in the year, everybody's going back to their different destiny. I remember when I spent the new year with my family, and when I had to leave on Saturday, it was quite emotional because we did not know when next everybody would actually
see each other,
come together like that. For those that could not come, we had to hop on video calls. It was just a fantastic memory. So that's also something that it raises your hope. It gives you this stir of excitement, and that's something you need to hold on to.
I like this next one. Really buzzes me. It says, the start of a new year offers a unique chance to reinvent ourselves, whether it's pursuing a career change, learning a new skill, or shifting our mindset. There's an empowering sense of freedom in knowing that we have the agency to transform any area of our lives. This is Damilare from Lagos. Now, why this amuses me, in the past, I've always tried to, new year, new me, new that. Later I gave up and, let me embrace my calling. This is who I am.
What is your calling?
No, I mean, I was okay. New year, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be smiling, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that.
Yes, you need to start. I believe I'm speaking for all the team members, everybody on your team. This 2025, Olumide Shokoya, you need to start smiling more, away from the screen. You need to embrace smiling. It's not your going. What's your calling? Your calling. See, you're smiling now, and it's so beautiful. I'm sure our producer is like, producer, you need to take a special shot of this. Let's frame it and put it in your office to show that Olumide actually smiles. This new year, you need to start smiling more. It's not your calling to be frowning. Thank you, producer. Smile more. Don't embrace your calling. New year, new me. Do it.
Well, new year, progress further. That's my own goal. That's the way I see it.
That's your own goal. Only
progress further. New year, we move. That's my own
slogan for the year.
We move. We move.
That's amazing. Mary from Lagos says, before jumping into the excitement of the new year, I appreciate the chance to reflect on the past year's successes, challenges, and growth. It's easy to forget how far we've come when we're focused on what's next, but taking a moment to be grateful for the year, that allows us to approach the new year with humility and joy. Very, very, very true.
Now, this next one says, the new year is a great time to create healthier routines, whether it is committing to a physical exercise, focusing on mental well-being, or nurturing relationship. There's something about the beginning of a new chapter that inspires us to care for ourselves in more meaningful ways. Tijani from Kwara State.
Tijani says the new year is a great time to create healthier routines. As much as I don't disagree, if you are not consistent with it, you will do it for the first week or at most 2 weeks in the new year and you will stop. You know, a lot of people enter the new year with, you know what, this year I'm going to lose 20 kg in the first quarter of the year. I'm going to become vegan. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to eat carbohydrates. I'm not going to take sugar. I'm not going to do, you know, you come in with, and trust me, all these Fit Farm organizations or whatever, they will now be rolling out different plans. You'll be like, this year is my year. January to April, this is the target. But if you are not disciplined and you don't, if you are just doing it because everybody is doing something new in the new year, I have to do it, you will not achieve it though.
Yeah.
But if you are going to do it because I really want to, new year or no new year, I really want to fall through, it will be hard, but at the end of the day, it will be worth it. If you can stay committed, focused, and consistent, you achieve it. If you believe, you achieve. There's something my friend says, I'm trying to remember. I think it's, if you believe, you will achieve, and if you don't achieve, you will try again and keep trying again till you achieve. You don't give up.
Well, that's words of motivation. Sometimes it might be true, sometimes, but I think that's as much as we can take right now. We hope you enjoyed it. Stick around, we still have a whole lot more coming up on the Breakfast Cafe in a moment.
Bad production can kill a great content idea.
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Something big is in town. Something powerful and majestic. A mammoth creation destined to become a legend by all who encounter it. High Impact Planet, Nigeria's biggest family theme park, with facilities designed for friends, families, or large groups under a relaxing atmosphere. Be welcomed by wowing displays of animatronics, thrill out with realistic arcade games, or enjoy a number of thrilling heart-racing park rides. Experience the 5D and 12D cinemas, and challenge your mates with bumper cars and go-kart races. Don't forget to slide into the ice rink, or simply take time out to enjoy a pizza at our delightful restaurant and dessert spot, or at the exquisite club lounge. High Impact Planet, 12 Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo, opposite MFM Prayer City. Visit high-impactplanet.com for details and inquiries. Fun just got real.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. Olumide is still here with me, as always. We'll be here till 9 a.m. and we are moving into another segment where we talk about topical issues and what other way to start the year than to discuss things that can make Nigeria better, you know. So this morning we're looking at economic reforms, understanding President Tinubu's policies as we are diving into the new year. And you ask yourself, what does this even mean? You know, in the year 2024, we saw a lot of policies rolling out. Now, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration introduced significant economic reforms to address Nigeria's fiscal challenges and stimulate growth. Now, one of his key measures was the removal of fuel subsidies, which had been a major drain on government resources. While controversial due to rising fuel prices, the goal is to redirect savings into essential sectors like infrastructure and social welfare. The administration has also unified Nigeria's exchange rate to align with market realities, hoping to attract foreign investment and stabilize the naira. President Tinubu's reforms also focus on expanding the tax base, improving revenue collection, and enhancing the ease of doing business. His government has pushed for greater economic diversification away from oil, promoting sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and technologies. Although these policies have faced mixed reactions, particularly concerning their short-term impact on citizens, they are aimed at creating a more sustainable, competitive, and inclusive economy in the long run. And joining us to have this conversation this morning is our guest, Solomon Emiola. He is a social justice advocate. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Solomon Emiola.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me on board.
Happy New Year.
Wish you the best.
wish you the very same. You know, if we're going to talk about President Tinubu's policies, we have a lot to say. But we've entered the new year. Going by these current realities, how does President Tinubu's economic reforms address Nigeria's long-standing fiscal deficit, and what is their potential? What is the potential impact of these reforms on our national debt?
Yeah, thank you for this such a question, and it's what we need to be discussing at this present time, because if you listen to the president's press chat, he was telling us that if friend of his had Royce, all these big cars, and the person has come to having what's it called now, under CRB. We refer to that as Lamba, because economic policies of economics as a study in secondary school, we refer to it as a study of alternatives, in which this regime or this administration is proving to us as Nigerians that their own economic policy is the best, in which it is not, because it has not yet stopped the rate of poverty in the land. Thank God we're all familiar if the economic policies are working or have impact on the life of the citizens in which they are governing. Take, for instance, what happened at Abuja during food distribution. That case wouldn't have been, because the economic has to do with the food security, job opportunity, etc. So it means that the policy on its own has failed. It has failed the test of time, because even the president himself, he said he's teaching us how to manage things. But the question is, there is a Yoruba saying that said, Ilela wo kato somoloruko.
Can you translate that?
That is, before leadership by example. Let me use that word. That leadership by example. That the president itself, there was no water at Abuja that he needs or that warrant the president to board to get in yacht. So for the president to tell us that he's teaching all the citizens how to manage resources, then it means he ought to start first, not from we. If he wants to teach a child how to eat food, you need to demonstrate. And there is a saying that said, practice make perfect. What the president is not practicing is what he wants we, the citizens, to practice, which doesn't correlate. Like we have in the 83 anti-SAM, the same economic policies that they said there was no alternative to such, the same thing that this element, these people in power are just reintroducing to us in the 21st century, which shows that their ideas are out of place, but they are just forcing it on us as a citizen.
All right, thank you very much. So let's look at one of the highlights of last year, which was last year and last 2 years, the fuel subsidy removal and its effect on the economy. I mean, from 600 naira to about 1,000, 1,002, and now back to 900. I know Governor Zulum gave a slash for farmers, I think about 600 naira, which is a subsidy for that particular state. Then I'm sure you also heard that we heard it last 2 years, we heard it last year, that we actually saved trillions of naira from the petrol subsidy removal. Would you regard that as also, in your own words, Lamba? And what has happened to this money that was saved, and how can it be redirected back into the economy?
Yeah, thank you. In this in our society, in our country today, we do things that contradict the well-organized society. Our own is the opposite side. When the president claimed he saved trillions of naira from fuel subsidy, according to them, now it is this same president that told us that the IGR, the GDP, income per capita, that is not increasing. So now, the question now should be, the over 1 trillion naira that has been saved, what was it used for? What we can see that it was used for was just to accumulate wealth for the few within the ruling class. Part of it is building of vice presidential villa that cost the presidency nothing less than 21 billion naira. That 21 billion naira alone, it can lift a state out of poverty. And if you ask me how, at this present day, you see that even some of the SSA to the president are now venturing into small scale businesses by empowering people with POS machine and a sum of 100,000 naira as form of empowerment to them. Now, if we are going by that arithmetic, that format, it means we are going to liberate nothing less than over 100,000 people out of poverty. In which, if you look at the statistics of the rate of poor people who are earning below, who are living below expectation of the UNDG goals on poverty, this in $1 per day. It means in Oyo State we have 48.7%, and other states we have different statistics in which, if everything is being summarized together, and at what level we are the poverty capital. Look at that word, the capital of poverty, which means that all this money looks like audio money. Money that the citizens cannot benefit from, money that the citizens does not feel the impact. The only thing Nigerians enjoy as a citizen in this country is the subsidy. That's the only thing we enjoy. We don't have access to good roads, good health care, infrastructural development. In terms of education, nothing. And he has removed subsidy in almost all what we enjoy as a citizens. And this shows that all what they are telling us on media, and there is this saying that it is what the government wants the citizens to hear that they send out. But the cabinet also came out to kick against the illusion. A standing senator from the northern side kick against the policy, that the policy is not working for the people. So how do we not say, okay, the 1 trillion that they said is saved, of what impact does it have on the people? It does not. It doesn't have impact on the educational sector, not of the health sector. That 1 trillion naira alone can lift our schools out of the state it is now. That 1 trillion can resuscitate the educational sector from where it is, and that alone, if the educational sector gets it right, the country will have what we refer to as transformational development. In the case, money was not transformed into that aspect. It was set aside for political jobbers.
You know, this points you're making are very, very crucial points, and these are some of the reasons why they have called for an audit. So if we're saying we saved this particular amount from fuel subsidy, later on NNPC also said they got a particular profit, later they said they were in debt, it begs a lot of question as to accountability and transparency, and that's why a lot of Nigerians are calling for some sort of audits. These monies that have been saved, what was it used for? Where is it being stored? But away from that, we will have to move quickly because of our time. You know, there has been conversation about broadening Nigeria's tax-based system, and it's quite concerning for certain individuals. Now, what strategies do you think should be put in place to ensure that the broadening of Nigeria's tax base, based on our current reality, does not disproportionately burden the most vulnerable populations in the country?
Actually, you see, every strategies are strategy. Or it depends on the goal of each strategy. If the federal government of today are willing to utilize a strategy that will lift the people from abject poverty. They know how to go about it. They are politicians. And when they are canvassing for votes, they know the nook and cranny of where they canvass for votes. And they can even say, take for instance, I ran for office. I can tell you that, okay, at my constituency, I know some particular areas that this is what they need. And there is a study in a course in project management that talks about stakeholder mapping. There is need for the federal government to have a consultative meeting and meet the stakeholders to know what these people actually want. For instance, you cannot build or construct a road for a community in which what they need is not road, what they need is water. The road will be of no use. But if you provide to them water that will give them the opportunity to go into their daily activities by making ends meet, that alone will solve some problems. But to us, we believe in bringing ideas that cannot even transform just 8% of the population, even 0.005 of the population, in which this should not be goal or idea or strategy by any of those in power. The economic team or economic committee team, what has been their resolution? They also knew that none of their strategy can be implemented by this regime because they have some campaign funds that they need to sort out. And that's why you see that they prioritize those who spend for them during their election, not to those who are willing to serve the country for a better society whereby a son of nobody will become somebody. They don't prioritize that. They don't believe in technocrats. They only believe in those who pay for them, and they've turned the government to a family affairs. That is where you see the son of the office of the son of president, in which in the constitution it was not established. That is where you also see that a citizen abused the office of the son of the president and the police, and the next thing is the person was sent to jail. Because they don't believe in democracy themselves. They believe in what is it called? A feudocracy. That is government of the few within the ruling class. And that cannot work in a population of over 200 million people. It has not worked in the developed states, not to talk about the developing states.
Right. You know, right. Okay. Just very quickly, now you've summed up a lot of things. But before we go, this is 2025. In your perspective, what is that one thing that you think the federal government or the current administration needs to look into and channel energy into to help us see a more sustainable economy this year? In less than 1 minute, I would like you to respond to that.
Yeah, thank you. What I think they should do is they should end poverty and bad governance.
How do you think they can end poverty? What are some of the strategies you'd advise them to adopt?
Yeah, first, there is need for stakeholder mapping. Each of the states, they knows where they are lacking behind. After the stakeholder mapping, there will be a roundtable conversation between the stakeholders to resolve on a particular problem to be solved.
All right.
So if those things are not put in place, forget about it. And also there is need for evaluation process, whereby anything that has been done, it needs to be monitored and evaluated. Does it work? If it works in Oyo State, can it also be duplicated at Lagos State? Will it work? And also to the northern part. And we should not also forget that the strategy that works in the southern part, in most of the cases, might not work in the northern part or in the eastern part of the country.
Right. Fantastic one there. So there needs to be intentionality in carrying this out. Thank you so much, Solomon Emiola, for joining us this morning. It's been a fantastic conversation with you, but we have to go. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you for having me on board.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
And you too. Bye.
Bye. Fantastic one there, I must say. The last point he made really holds a lot of water. What works here might not work here. So you need to understand the disparities and not carry strategy A because it's working in Lagos and Abuja and what have you, and implement it in Kano because it might definitely not work in Kano State. But that's as much as we can take on this segment. We'll go on a break with, and we'll be back with our trending video for today. Do stick around.
"35 innocent souls were lost." Ọlọ́run ní jí kárírú ẹ̀ mọ́ ní Ọ̀yọ́ State o. Quite a number of people, they've been reaching out to me saying, "Oh, this thing happened in Anambra State. It happened also FCT. Nobody went to jail. Why is it in Oyo State that some people are going to jail?" I said, well, Oyo State is not Anambra State. And no matter how highly placed, justice must be done. Judiciary 1B, it's in their court. If you think you can grant bail pending the trial, I don't have anything against it. But trial, the people must go on trial. So people come to me and I've been saying to them, Oyo State, even if this entire country decides not to